This is my favorite season because it's exciting. It's like leaving things behind that no longer serve us. It's about like getting refocused. You could get refocused any day of the year, any day of the week. It doesn't matter. This is just a season where there's some enthusiasm. So, like, let's just catch that enthusiasm, but let's put things in place like a vision board, like actual time bound goals, like people who are going to support us so that it doesn't just end in January, so that you can have those touch points and those encouragers in your life to help you get there in the end. Hi, welcome back to the Bombshell Business Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Hurdle, and this is maybe one of my favorite times because I'm such a goal-oriented person. And if you're a regular listener, then you probably realize that we have not put out an episode in a couple of weeks because everything's been a shit show in my personal side of things, just trying to get moved. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, got screwed over. Like literally, a moving company tried to scam me. It's a whole long story. I won't even get into it. But like, oh my gosh, the disruption. I can't even. Like, I was like, you can make this up. So I'm all settled, but then, of course, get right into New Year's, which in my line of work, as you can imagine, New Year, everybody wants help and to get started on their goals. And so I'm just juggling a lot. So I appreciate your grace for not putting those episodes out. And we have episodes in the bank. We have them recorded with guests, but I just didn't feel right starting the new year without doing this episode. And I know many of you who've listened to this before, done it year over year, you've done it. You went ahead, you went back to that episode, you went through it. Like you've told me, I've gotten the emails, I've gotten the direct messages on social media. So I love that this is important to you too. But for those of you who might be newer listeners who haven't gone through these exercises, or just, maybe you want to refreshers that you've already done on your own, or you just want to stay in the groove. I'm definitely not the most consistent person in the world, but there are certain traditions that I think are important, and this is one of them. So without further ado, we need to talk about today. And I know last year we did two different episodes of 5 things to leave behind and 5 things to add, but I want to do both of them in one episode this time and just knock it all out. So let's start with what we need to leave behind in 2022. So numero uno, leave behind at least one person who takes energy and doesn't give energy back to you. This is such a theme in my keynotes on the podcast. Yesterday, I'm actually in Saratoga Springs right now. That's the weird hotel background. I was working with the New York Association of Realtors leadership program, and second year getting to do it. And what a great group. What a great group. But we really kind of got into a lot of juicy issues as I'm, spending the day with them talking about personal branding and leadership and self-awareness and seeing and harvesting the greatness in others. And, all those topics I love to talk about. And one of the things that we definitely dug in on is like, do not let yourself be surrounded with energy vampires, because in sales, oh my gosh, especially real estate, which is like this, and you just can't afford it. You've got to like put all of your energy together, harness it, point it in a direction, as Oprah says, and like let it loose. But if other people are sucking that away from you, you're never going to get like the velocity that you need to move things forward. Unfortunately, I had another year of culling. And, things happen in life, and things happen where people don't even understand that they're showing you who they are, but they're showing you who they are. And I appreciate that. And that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that of all the things that are important to them, like I am probably not as important as I thought I was. And so me giving a certain amount of energy to something that is not pushing back to me, it's just, there's only so much time, there's only so much energy. And so you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who, it's a two-way street. So leave behind at least one person who takes energy. Number two, leave behind at least one activity that moves you away from your goals. Now, I'm not saying you have to be psycho-intentional all the time, because like we do things sometimes, it's just like probably not the best plan, but boy, do we have fun. But I just mean like something that's like a regular thing. Everything when we're talking about making decisions, especially in our business and our relationships, if you make a decision, is it moving me closer to what I want to accomplish and who I want to become? Or is it moving me away from that? So just as an example, let's just say that you have a weekly happy hour that you go to, a bar, a restaurant, country club, whatever. And, it started out very innocent, very like, these are my friends, and it's like a good night for socializing. But then it kind of turns into a binger every time, or like, drama happens or whatever. And then the next day you wake up, you're groggy, like, come on, guys, as we get older, we cannot process our alcohol as good. And then you're like not at your best for the things that you want to accomplish. And then the year comes to an end, and you're like, well, geez, what happened? Well, once a week, you're out on a weeknight getting hammered. And if you don't think that stays in your system for a couple days, you know, and no judgment, I'm just offering that as an example, something that you need to cut out. And maybe that's like you run too much. Maybe your body is telling you, like, hey, you can't run like this anymore. Your knees, your, hips, whatever that is. Maybe it's that you need to try something different, or you need to like modify, like offset your running with some swimming or whatever that looks like. Just think about what is that activity that you routinely do that moves you away from your goals. So we need to leave behind a person who's an energy suck. We need to leave behind an activity that moves you away from your goals. And number three, leave behind at least one belief that has no evidence to support it. I'll tell you what mine is. I was pretty convinced that I was incapable of like handling everything on my own, or like that my ADD was like more impactful to day-to-day life than it actually is, like just that I couldn't manage things. And that's not true. And so the past, 18 months or so, I took care of 10.66 acres, handled my business, remodeled something, handled everything at home. And it was a lot to juggle, don't get me wrong. It's a lot, but I did it. And so the limiting belief that I am leaving behind, because there's no evidence of it. Oh, and also, like, hello, all of my houseplants still live, and I moved them to another state, and they're all doing great. So there's that too. But the limiting belief is that I'm not capable of managing my personal and private life both with excellence. And I am. It's not always perfect, but I can completely do it. So yay. And then, so let's see here. Number four, leave behind at least one habit that keeps you from being your best. What is that habit? What habit do you have that you like, I need to let that go? It could be snacking. It could be overextending yourself. It could be sleeping in. It could be staying up too late. It could be watching too much TV. Whatever that is, it's got to go, because you've got big things to accomplish in 2023. And I know that you have it in you. I know, because I know my average listener, and you're a bad mama jamma. And whether you're a bombshell, a bold, brave, unwaveringly confident woman entrepreneur, and if you're new to the show, that doesn't mean you're always confident. It just means that when you fall, you get back up, and you believe that you can get back up, and you believe that you can get to where you want to go, even if you have hard days. Y'all, I have Gertrude. She sits right here. She tells me all kinds of nasty things. I tell her to shut up. And then when I'm done having my moment of insecurity, then I'm like, all right, you got this. Like, you can do this. So, but that's because I surround myself with good people. I let people out that are not edifying. I leave behind activities that take me away from that gives Gertrude the ammunition to tell me that I'm not good. You have to get rid of these beliefs that are the limiting beliefs. That's just like a ceiling where you can't break through it, because until that goes, you're stuck. And then those habits, maybe the habit is negative self-talk. Maybe the habit is saying negative things out loud. You've got to put something in place. If you say negative things out loud, that is what you're speaking over your life. And so whether that's like a jar that you put something in, or you keep up with it on your phone, or you snap yourself with a rubber band on your wrist, I don't care what it is, but you got to get that bye-bye. Okay. 2023, if you're somebody who speaks negativity, I'm going to challenge you. That is it. And I'm trying to think, is it Joyce Meyer's Power Thoughts and Battlefield of the Mind? And if you're not a Christian, I don't think Joyce Meyer's is a hard pill to swallow, even if that's not your belief system. I read a lot, Buddhism and Hindu, and like, to me, like, your flavor of your path to God doesn't really make a difference to me. Like, I know my belief system, but I can still learn something from that. So even if you're not a Christian, Joyce Myers is great. And if you like me, you'll like her. She's actually somebody that I put on my vision board when I first started my business, because she shoots you straight. She shoots you straight. And sometimes she'll say on stage, like, I'm preaching better than you're acting. I just think that's funny, because like, people don't give her the response that she thinks she should get based on the truth that she speaks. And it's funny. Anyways, check out Joyce Myers. So leave behind that habit. So let me just recap real quick. Number one, leave behind at least one person who takes energy away from you and doesn't give energy to you. Number two, leave behind at least one activity that moves you away from your goals. Number three, leave behind at least one belief that has no evidence to support it. Important piece is evidence. And number four, leave behind at least one habit that keeps you from being your best. And then number five, leave behind at least one tool or expense you don't use or need. Yes, sister, you get on up into that budget, get up into that P&L, look around, see what that thing is that you bought that you thought you needed, that you still haven't used, but you might use it one day, but you're probably not going to. Just shut it off. If you need it again, you can go buy it again. Okay. I think it's a really healthy thing, whether it's, once a quarter or once even every month. Like, I'm always looking at my expenses going like, do I really use that? Do we really need that? Is there a more efficient way of doing that? And so think about that. It's easy to buy tech tools. It's easy to buy things like, there's an app. Hold on, I'm going to share an app with you. Shoot, it's not where I thought it would be. There's an app that it like sucks up all of your subscriptions and tells you, when they're coming for renewal or that sort of thing, because everything is like automatically debited. So we don't pay attention to it. So whether that's your personal life, your business life, if you're paying for a gym membership, if you're working out in your garage, like just get rid of whatever is clutter. It's not even necessarily about the money. It's about having things that are cluttering your life, that are cluttering your everything. It's about taking money away from a bank account that you don't use it. It's not doing anything. It's not serving your life. It's just this thing that's out there that's like causing more chaos and something that's already complicated. So, just really streamlining everything as best as possible is going to set you up for success for the coming year. So things can flow with ease. Okay, so those are the 5 things we need to leave behind. I strongly encourage you to journal that out, think about it, talk about it with girlfriend. I love that every year I get people stuff that text message me. It's like the most fun part anyways. It has really helped kind of keep me going through just craziness. And of course, the beginning of January is always crazy for us too. So it's like conference season, moving, Christmas, craziness. One day I'll get a break, but it's not today. All right, so now I'm going to say these and I'm going to go through each of them and just share mine. So number one, we pick the word of the year. This is important because it just gives you one thing to focus on, and I'll talk about it. Number two, pick your mantra for the year. Number three, pick your song of the year. Number four, create a vision board. And then number five, create goals. And vision and goals are different things. So we'll talk about that. So let's dive in. Word of the year for me is harmony. That's really an important word to me most of the time, but maybe just wasn't something that was necessarily possible as I was figuring out a lot of newness in my life and that sort of thing. So, harmony is really about peacefully moving through things. It's about if you think about harmony and like music coming together, it's about things coming together in ease and flow. And, last year was a bunch of fight. It was a bunch of like bulldozing through the impossible. It was about, people or companies letting me down and me having to like really fight, not necessarily fight them, but like fight for plans B through Z, as we talk about. And this year, I just don't want that. If it doesn't flow, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not for me. And so harmony is my word of the year. My mantra, it was going to be, I'm going to use the word like quack, quack. If your kids are in the car or whatever, you might want to like fast forward through this part, but it was going to be duck around and find out. But then I decided that might be a little aggressive, and it doesn't add the other side of it because that's not my desire. Like, my desire isn't to be like, "Rrr." My desire is harmony. But if you're going to proactively or like intentionally or flippantly try to screw me over, I'm done with that. Like, I can't even explain to you how much money, time, energy I lost in the year of our Lord 2022 because of people taking advantage of me or screwing me over or whatever. So now my mantra is going to be do no harm, take no shit. I'm not going to hurt anybody, but if you come at me, you're going to regret it. So I'm just going to shut it down. And so that's going to be my mantra. Bigger than Christmas. And I've got to give my dear friend Deb Vega, credit for that. I mean, it's not her mantra, but it's something that she introduced to me. And as we've learned a lot about like rain, and that's a process that you go through to kind of like, re-regulate or whatever. She did a women's leadership retreat with me a couple years ago, and we talked about that a lot. And it is definitely going to be my mantra for this year. So my word is harmony. My mantra is do no harm, take no shit. And then my song is Level Up by Ciara. So let me read you some lyrics. Them old mistakes are gone. I won't do them no more. That's old news. There's new news. I done did that before. I turned nothing into something. My comeback on 100. Less talking, more action. You just going to see coming. I just keep elevating. No losses, just upgrading. My lessons made blessings. I turn that into money. Thank God I never settled. This view is so much better. I'm chilling. I'm winning like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me, I see greater. Nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. And then this next stanza, fake friends get dropped like weight. Team love, don't want no hate. I'm grinding, I'm shining, up, on my way. Thank God I never settled. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Yeah, it's kind of my vibe. Really leaving a lot behind, really focusing like very core focus in a lot of areas of life, and just embracing this, like leveling up. And also, I love Sierra, so I used to teach aerobics to her. It's a great song. It's not a bad song to listen to every single day. It's super high energy. You'll enjoy it. We'll link to it in the show notes or in the YouTube description. Okay, so harmony is a word. Do no harm, take no shit is a mantra. Level Up by Sierra is the song, and then the vision board. So you definitely want a vision board. I am just flabbergasted how these things just keep working. So last year's vision board had a bunch of stuff on it, and some of them I did like okay. I did it, but just with all the challenges, like I really did the best that I can, and I'm going to honor that. But the things that came to pass, like I had no idea. I had no idea what I'd be able to get done, but I put it on my vision board. I'm like, even if it's not this year, I'm going to go ahead and put it on my 2022 vision board and at least move towards it so that I can have it, eventually. But it all happened. So I'm super pumped. This year, I have a picture. It's kind of like water and then like a kind of a yoga body. There is like beach yoga where I live, like, super close to me. Sunset yoga and sunrise yoga. And yoga is definitely something I've kind of like let slide. And so just that combination of my yoga practice and then like being near water, whether those two things come together or not, like those images put together is really just about like that serenity, that thing that moves me towards harmony, that keeps me grounded so that like that is my norm. And when something negative or chaotic comes in, it should feel so disruptive that like I'm like, nope, that is disrupting my harmony. So one way I'm going to get to harmony is by focusing on being around water as much as possible. Now I look out my past my lanai, and I'm literally on a pond right now. So I have water. I'm 1 mile from a river. I'm 7 miles from the beach, and I take my dog to the dog beach frequently. So it's all good. And then let's see here. Vision board. Also, I have a Bible verse on there that's about faith. So Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct your paths. Now, again, if you don't believe in God, cool. Believe in the universe, believe in your own inner being, believe in your highest self. But having faith, whether it's in God or in yourself or in the goodness of the universe, that the universe is conspiring in your best interest, like believe it because it's what's true. I have the word gratitude on there just so that anytime my mind goes somewhere that is negative, that I can always bring it back to gratitude. Huge importance. My dear friend Lisa Ryan, she has a whole it's called Grategy. She has a whole keynote and a whole program and everything around it. So at least I've got somebody good in my life that will constantly be reminding me of this. Not that I'm a negative person, but then I have an umbrella with money raining down. And so the umbrella, like that's something I've always said is like, I have to take care of the people underneath my umbrella. And the idea is if you start to share your umbrella with somebody that God hasn't asked you or who you haven't decided that you have agency over, that is your responsibility, that is somebody that you're supposed to look after. If you're taking that umbrella away from them, because again, we only have so much time, energy, and resources, and you're putting it over somebody else, then you're leaving the people that are supposed to be under your umbrella in the rain while you're giving it to who? You're covering who? So, really good about that in my personal life. And it's not that I'm bad about it in my business life, but anybody who knows me or has worked with me knows I'm an overgiver. And what I've realized is that when I give too much, I'm not then bringing in the revenue that I need to bring in to then like reward my team. So if I'm giving away or reducing something or being overly generous, then I'm taking away from my team. So that was something that kind of clicked for me towards the end of the year. That's on my vision board. The Employer Brand Central logo, because that's been gangbusters, and we haven't even launched the hub yet. Like we kind of started to, but the agency side of things is so busy that I just want to make sure that we land the plane on a lot of that kind of work before we launch the hub, which will just be access to tools, templates, and resources to ensure that your employer brand, like all the things that you need to hire right, to onboard, to engage, to recognize, communication events. Like I could go on and on and on. It's amazing. Offboarding, everything. Like we're so proud of this, but we want to do it well and we want to do it right. So, but we're already, I mean, the agency side obviously has been going. So that's going to be our big focus. And I just actually started my phone. So I have it on my phone. Like I make it a screen saver. And then I have this in my bathroom, like literally framed. And I just put it as many places as possible. So I'm constantly looking at it and being reminded of what I said my priorities are. Of course, I have a picture of me and my kids on there. My son is in college. I still need to be, available to him. He's, killing it and doing well. But, we definitely work on things and like staying on track and everything together. And then my daughter, we're planning lots of stuff for her. So I won't get into her business, but she's definitely going to be high up on the priority list. Then I have also a gate, like a physical gate, because as I'm in a new area, and I'm not saying I'm be closed off, like that's impossible. You know me, I'm like such an open person. But in terms of who I really let in or who I really spend my time with, like I kind of have a fresh slate. I don't have 30 years of history. It's not like somebody thinks that I owe them my time or attention because I've known them for forever. And so, yeah, I'm just going to have a gate up because if somebody is not like equally as invested in a relationship as me, and I mean friendship, whatever, and really what I'm saying is friendship. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But I guess you could look at this in a romantic stance too. But like it's a two-way street or bust. The end, gates up. And that doesn't mean wall up. Gates you can see through. Gates you can be like, hi, how are you over on that side? And you can open up for the people who are worthy of being let on your property, right? So that's on there. And then last but not least, I have a heart with with strong arms because the good news is like I really haven't atrophied that much, but I haven't been in the gym lifting weights. And that's so weird for me because I've been lifting weights since I was 12 years old. But just the chaos and everything, it's just, there weren't enough days where like it was worth getting that sore and being that miserable because I couldn't go back to like work that soreness out, if that makes any sense. And I know that sounds like a lame excuse, but when I've walked, it's not like I haven't worked out, like small weights at home, whatever, body weight, but I haven't had like my regular diehard routine. And so I'm going to be excited to get back into that. So, just kind of full circle, this year is really about like getting my new life and everything kind of like settled, which I'm super close to, and then building on that and level up. Like that's kind of the theme of my year. And so I just kind of want you to think about as you're leaving 5 things behind and as you're putting these new things in place, now what are your goals? And I know that sounds a little bit backwards, but if you don't have a clear focus, like a theme or, what is it like what is it that I want to feel? How does my life want to be? Who do I want to become? If you can't answer those questions, then how do you set your goals? So last but not least, number 5 is you do set your goals and, make sure that they're time bound, make sure that they are, and I'm not saying do SMART goals. I've got my Glamour Goals program. Really for me, it's just, you only have goals that are glamorous, that really are going to catch and hold your attention. And so as you're working on those goals, then you do need to put like, okay, by March 30th or whatever, this is going to happen. Because if you don't put those mini goals in place to support that bigger goal, you're going to get to the end of December and be like, well, crap. There's not enough time to get this done. So I won't share my goals other than making sure that we secure our founding 50 members and really focus and love on them for the Employer Brand Central Hub. But beyond that, I'll just keep them to myself. But don't have too many, like 3, 5 max. The mini goals to support that will be exponential. So let's just say that you want to increase revenue by 30%. Well, you're not just going to be like, okay, let me make it happen. Like there's little things that you're going to have to do, whether that's like hire a marketer, change your sales script, expand into a new market, whatever that is for you, get funding so that you can do the things, maybe do like a friends and family round if you're kind of in that space. Whatever that is for you, think about what are all the small things that I have to do to get to that big goal. And once you get those worked out, then you're good to go. So leave 5 things behind. Pick your 5 things for 2023 if you haven't already done that. And you know what? Let me know if you got this through email, hit reply and let me know what yours are. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts or whatever your podcast listening app is, then email me, amber@amberhurdle.com, or send me a message on any of the social media channels. I love LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn, although I've been quiet on there the past couple of weeks too. And just share them with me, because when you do share something, then it's like out there in the world. And I love being that person for you. And this is my favorite season because it's exciting. It's like leaving things behind that no longer serve us. It's about like getting refocused. You could get refocused any day of the year, any day of the week. It doesn't matter. This is just a season where there's some enthusiasm. So like, let's just catch that enthusiasm, but let's put things in place like a vision board, like actual time-bound goals, like people who are going to support us, so that it doesn't just end in January, so that you can have those touch points and those encouragers in your life to help you get there in the end. And I'm telling you, this little knocked up teenager, I'm pretty freaking happy in my life right now. And it hasn't been easy, but a huge, huge thing for me has always been vision boards and this process I just took you through. And it's very powerful for the people who've worked for me or the people that we serve through our coaching and consulting programs. So I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that your year is remarkable. And I hope that we all have a much easier year this year than past years. And I will catch you on the next episode.